Good evening, and thank you for gathering to help me celebrate the life and accomplishments of former President Ronald Reagan. I'd like to think of this as not a eulogy or a passing, but more as a celebration. Former President Ronald Reagan was born in February of 1911 in Illinois. He was an average student, graduated in 1928, and enrolled in Eureka College in Illinois. He strived to be an actor. From his graduation in 32 until 1952, he followed a brief career in movies and acting, although it wasn't overly successful. He did try. He married his wife Nancy in 1952 and began to dabble in politics. In 1960, he was an avid Democrat, supporting Richard Nixon in his candidacy, speaking many times on Nixon's behalf. In 1962, he formally became a Republican and made the right decision. And from 1962 to 67, he sought to find a place where he could make a difference instead of being a complainer, be more of a proactive person in politics. And he sought for and won the governor's seat in California, where he served 2 terms. In 1976, he sought the Republican National nomination, but was beat out by the incumbent Ford. Ford later was defeated by Carter in that election. In 1980, he again sought the Republican nomination against Ford and defeated him as president and was inaugurated in 1981. He was inaugurated as the 40th president of the United States. During his first term, he met with many controversies, the most notable being he was shot in an attempted assassination by John Hinckley Jr., who was trying to gain the affections of Jodie Foster and thought by shooting the president he would gain notoriety. Hinckley was later sentenced to life in a mental institution without the possibility of parole. James Brady, the press secretary, was also hit, leading Reagan to write into the legislature the Brady Bill. In 1985, Reagan won his second term and was sworn in as, at 73 years old, the oldest sitting president. Ronald Reagan was very proactive in identifying and celebrating accomplishments. And in 1986, he signed into law a bill recognizing Martin Luther King Jr. and his works. And later that month, in '86, Reagan was forced to address the public for what he said was one of the hardest speeches he ever had to make regarding the Challenger disaster, urging us to push forward and continue where these brave citizens fell off. In 1989, at the end of his second term before George Bush was inaugurated president, Reagan made his farewell speech, which was one of the most highly recognized and most notable speeches of any president in the United States. A very charismatic speaker, commanded an audience with no hand gestures or fancy flashy cards, but just a soft, subtle voice and his very distinct accent. In 1993, Reagan was admitted into the Mayo Clinic and was diagnosed having Alzheimer's. And then later in '94, Reagan addressed his public for the last time via a letter, disclosing that he was suffering from Alzheimer's and thanking the public for all their support and help through his years. We lost a great man, Ronald Reagan, at the age of 93 on June 5th, '04. It was a very sad day when President Reagan passed. He was the oldest living president at 93. He was a great leader, a great man, and I appreciate your helping me in celebrating his life and accomplishments. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.